Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Lilith has returned to Sanctuary and is hell-bent on reclaiming the world she helped create, even if it requires slaughtering thousands of her own children. Although many of us have already spent countless hours ascending to near godhood thrice over to take down the titular big bad demon, Diablo is back with another addictive bang. The Lords of Hell are slowly regaining their strength, and another invasion of Sanctuary seems inevitable. This is at least how Elias, the fallen Horadrim, sees things. And that fear and misguided sense of purpose is enough to make him take matters into his own hands, summoning Lilith back from the void to eradicate the Lords of Hell and reshape the world in her image. What follows is an epic tale of you overcoming every horror she throws at you and Sanctuary. Despite the nearly 3 decades worth of robust lore, the Diablo series has always struggled to deliver its narrative. The cutscenes are always cool, but the classic tale of good versus evil is always played out through 2-dimensional villains who have no real motivation for their actions other than, this is what bad guys are supposed to do. In Diablo 4, Lilith could not be more the opposite. Unlike the Lords of Hell, Lilith feels like a character. She has a compelling backstory, complex motivations, and she is relentless in the pursuit of her ideals. For the first time in the series, I can actually sympathise with why the big bad is doing what they're doing. That same depth also extends to many of the other characters in the game. Although there was plenty of loss and hardship in the prior games, it feels much more heart-wrenching and sinister in Diablo 4, making the story and characters quite possibly the best improvement the game brings to the series. If only the same were true about the core gameplay. Diablo 4 feels almost too familiar, failing to really innovate significantly on anything the previous games did. There are some considerable quality of life improvements like the addition of mounts, an easily accessible Transmog system, a variety of frequent world events, and the addition of swappable legendary gear aspects. The rest of the game though, it just plays out like Diablo 3. Each quest, for example, is a case of go here, kill this, come back. Quite possibly the biggest letdown of the game, especially when you consider how high the bar has been set with other AAA games. This makes completing each quest feel like a mindless chore that you do solely in the hope of scoring 1 or 2 pieces of better gear. This tired formula could have easily been fixed with a bit more thought. I mean, just throw a few puzzles in there to keep our brains going. Thankfully, the voice acting, setting, and story behind these quests are really well done, which helps compensate for the lack of innovation. Despite the shortcomings, I still had a lot of mindless hack and slash fun. Each class feels refined to near perfection, with complex skill trees that significantly change your playstyle depending on your build. The comprehensive rebalancing and introduction of new skills make some of the available classes feel completely different than they did in prior games. One of my favourite things in Diablo 4 was the return to the darker art style that I came to love in Diablo 2. The world feels gritty and rancid with the rot of Hell's armies. While exploring Gulran, I couldn't move an inch without stepping on the blood-soaked carcass of some poor mutilated soul. An invading cannibal tribe had wiped out the town, only saving a few people to fatten up for their food supply. The sheer horror of stumbling into a room where a hoarder was hacking away at his latest victim, only to turn his big belly toward me, well, chef's kiss. This is what Diablo is all about, and I'm thrilled to see it delivered so beautifully. While the pre-launch version of the game did leave me a little bit underwhelmed, I still had a great time throughout the roughly 25 hours it took to complete the 6 acts. The story plays out beautifully and is perfectly complemented by the meticulously crafted world design. There's also a ton of endgame content, like higher world tier difficulties, nightmare dungeons, world bosses, and the return of seasons, providing plenty of options to keep you entertained long after the story wraps. And since Diablo is a live service game that will continuously evolve over the next several years, I've no doubt that it will get better and better the more the community plays it. Whether you're a die-hard fan or this is your first Diablo experience, you're bound to enjoy your visit to Sanctuary. Although there are some areas that felt a bit behind the times, the core of what makes Diablo games fun is present and polished to near perfection. And that is the end of this review. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, do us a favour, go on down below, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and give the bell icon a little ding so that you get notified whenever we've got new stuff. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.